The polar vortex is about to unleash a major Arctic outbreak just in time for Christmas. What is going on, guys? I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, and if you're new here, we talk and track all things weather. In this video, we're going to talk about what the polar vortex actually is and what it's not, and then break down how cold it could be leading up to Christmas. So I know your number one question may be, but will there be snow? Stick around towards the end of the video. We're going to break down maybe increasing chances for the big one in parts of New England. We'll have that in a few minutes. Now, the polar vortex, it's not a storm. It is a thing, but it hangs out way up in the stratosphere, not in the troposphere where humans live. But when it weakens, it can impact the jet stream and send some of that Arctic air that hangs up in the Arctic down into the lower 48 of the United States. And we can see that the polar vortex is weak by looking at the modeling here of the stratosphere. We're looking down over top of the North Pole. Here is the United States. Here is Europe. I'm going to take the illustration back off. When the polar vortex is strong, we typically see that bright blue and green hanging out right over the North Pole. But you see here, it's kind of split into two lobes, one centered over North America, the other centered over Europe. Now, when this happens, a lot of times the cold air that hangs out under the polar vortex gets dislodged and displaced, and then slides down and spills out over either North America, Europe, or both. Hey, my friends, if you are enjoying this video, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up. It really does help us out a lot. I would also love to know where you are tuning in from, and if you are rooting for this cold or snow, or if this is ugly to you, please post that in the comments below. So what does that mean for us? It is going to be really, really cold as we get into Christmas week. We are fast forwarding now to the morning of December 22nd. What I'm showing you here is the temperature anomaly. We're going to talk about what the temperatures could actually be the week of Christmas in a second, but just want to show you the sheer scope and the intensity of this blast of cold. When you're seeing this purple right here, these are temperatures being forecast here by the model to be 30 to 60 degrees below normal. We all know it's cold already in Minnesota, the Dakotas, Montana in December, especially late December. Yeah, take that and shave off about 30 to 50 degrees from what we are used to. This major outbreak of Arctic air then surges to the east. You see the blues and purples again. We're talking about air temperatures in Florida, 20 to 30 degrees below normal as well. We could wake up to temperatures around freezing, maybe below on Christmas. Now you see the red. We had the cold earlier this week in the west, so we're talking about western Montana, west of Texas into the desert southwest, Pacific Northwest. We are going to be way above normal heading into Christmas Day. Here we go. We are looking at Tuesday morning. There is our cold front really taking the cold to really cold behind that front. We're talking about 20 to 30 degrees below zero in the Dakotas and Montana. We're going to take you to Wednesday of Christmas week. Again, if you have any shopping to do, it is going to be really, really cold. There's Wednesday morning. We're talking about teens in parts of Missouri. Once we get into Thursday, you see the plunge just intensify. Here is our cold front getting ready to slice through St. Louis, parts of Oklahoma. We'll wake up to the teens on Thursday in North Texas, Oklahoma. Going forward now as we move into Friday morning, this is Festivus, December 23rd, for those who celebrate. And the cold front now blowing into the Gulf of Mexico. We could have temperatures below freezing in Central Florida on December 23rd. So I mentioned earlier in the video that we would take a peek just before Christmas to see if we are going to get any snow along with this blast of Arctic air. Because let's be honest, cold is a lot more fun when there's snow around. We're going to be watching two distinct pieces of energy, if you will, as we get towards Thursday, December 22nd. You see one of those pieces right here bringing snow to the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. The other kind of riding the coast, giving rain to Florida and parts of the Carolinas. Again, this is going to be on Thursday, December 22nd. Watch what happens, and it's all about the phase, if as we call it, between these two pieces of energy, these two disturbances. Now look what happens. You see it kind of explode as piece one moves up the coast, and then kind of the gasoline, the fuel comes down from Canada, the Hudson Bay, and the Great Lakes, giving us this kind of explosion here. So this is a big snowstorm, center of low pressure kind of right over New York City, Long Island at this point. Now, if you're rooting for snow along the I-95 corridor, this is not your ideal setup. You want the low to be a little bit further out at sea right here so that that colder air can kind of funnel in behind it. But in interior New England, maybe even all the way out to Ohio, that's where we're looking at the good snow, the big time snows at this point. I am confident there's going to be something, either some light snow with that piece of energy that slides down into the upper Midwest at the very least. But if we do get this secondary piece that's going to be hanging out here and rotting up the coast, it's game time for a huge snowstorm in the Northeast a day or two before Christmas. Speaking of Christmas, I'm going to have an update to our White Christmas outlook that we made earlier in December. That's going to be out on Monday, December 19th. Hit that subscribe button if you're interested. If you hit the alert bell, you will be alerted to any time we post new content or go live tracking the weather. Again, we would love to have you in this weather community. If you enjoyed this video, please, again, give it a thumbs up. It does help us out a lot. Again, enjoy the cold. We're going to keep an eye on that huge snowstorm potential in New England over the next week. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.